is private legal practitioner Martin Kpebu. Is a constitutional lawyer too. He's joined us on the line. Mr. Kpebu, this information we're just sharing is yet to be read in open court, but it's quite revealing. This is what you were asking the OSP to do all this time.
Yes. So you see that with this, when you read this, you see that there are questions for Madame Dapaah to answer. And then everybody sees that, hey, Charlie, there's trouble. Yeah, putting it in local, this in Ghanaian English.
Except that when you look at a prosecutor's charge sheet, the message written in there or the statement written in there may sound juicy and sweet until the defense team decides to or starts demolishing that. Do you not think that maybe if the defense puts up its defense, we may find that the OSP would be found wanting?
Well, I don't think so. Hopefully, okay. I don't think so because, you see, the thing is that in this particular case, there are lots. The information is a lot. At least this time, OSP is added exhibits. So it's now impossible for the defense team to properly answer all of this. They will attempt. As for attempting, they will. But actually, with experience, the way this charges, so to speak, not formal charges, but like using sometimes we like to use the word charges loosely. If you look at the charges again, or maybe I should just hear from it so that somebody will not say, hey, they say they've charged there. So if you look at the accusations, the accusations against.
So this would be evidence in support of the prayer to freeze the accounts and also affirm the seizure of the money. Correct?
That's correct. That's the whole idea. Yes, and that's what we asked for when the OSP first went to court. That he should show a lot of the evidence, and this time that's what has been done. So when you see this, Sander, you see that there are many. The accusations are many. It will take a miracle to be able to answer all this perfectly. And let's not even forget, even before we continue formal legal analysis, there's also the larger societal context. If they can even explain all of this, we in our hearts, we've already convicted. Yes, and you see also the conversation will go on and on. So as we are conversing, we are talking about these things and we are expressing dissatisfaction, disquiet, and all that. It serves to push back the politicians. You see, so it will warn them. So sometimes it may not be about strictly winning a case in court, but this conversation we are having now, you see that President Akufo-Addo is lost faith. You see that he's lost a lot of gravitas. He's lost the moral stand. He's no longer on any moral high horse. But
what has President Akufo-Addo done? His minister was the one who was involved. His minister has left the government. He has blessed the exits. That's a sign of someone who is supporting the fight against corruption, no?
No, he couldn't sack the minister. The minister left by herself, right? And so that showed Akufo-Addo weak. He couldn't fire her. Meanwhile, in opposition, no, I will not support corruption. I will not do family and friends. He was using family and friends in this instance. He couldn't sack her. It took the public opinion, public pressure, and then Madame Dapaah went. So the president there, and the other side he comes in is that so he didn't select well. So once he didn't select a good minister, and the minister is embroiled in all of this embarrassing thing, it also touches on the president. Don't forget, we say, show me your friend and I'll show you your character. Show me your friend and I'll show you your character. So sometimes there is that collective punishment and all that. So President Akufo-Addo is being punished indirectly. So we're developing the point that even short of a criminal conviction, these revelations are good because they fuel the conversation. They energize the conversation that, look, we are making progress as a nation that want to stop bribery and corruption, want to stop unexplained wealth. So to wrap up on that question, even no matter how the defense lawyers come to answer, for us, there will always be that moral side. And as for that moral side, Madame Dapaah and President Akufo-Addo lost it a long time ago when this thing started.
But you're a lawyer, so winning in the court of law or in the court of public opinion, which one matters? Because this is the court of public opinion that you are using to judge them. But when it comes to it, it would be in the courts that the arguments would be made. And if she's victorious there, it ends everything, and you don't even dare, you can't dare attack her in the public opinion, can you?
Oh, we can. So you are right. Sometimes about the public opinion and court of law. Yes, ordinarily the court of law is more, I shouldn't say ordinarily, sometimes, because they have different purposes. Sometimes the court of law is important. Other times, even when you've lost the court of law, the court of public opinion is important. So this is what it does in every society, right? So let's say a bit of theory. Let's go into a bit of theory in legal jurisprudence. So when you hear functionalism, right? So just short point. Long story short, we do some research to move society forward, normative research, right? So in the same way, this discussion we're having, parts of it are normative. We are norming, you see, our norms. Sometimes we are reinforcing our norms. Other times we are creating new norms. So the court of public opinion is very important. They two always go together. If you have a court of law, you don't have public opinion. No, the court of law can't survive. You always need the public opinion to shape and sometimes even take the lead to direct the court of law. Yes, you think the judges don't listen to radio. When they see we are angry, we are paying for the blood of Madame Dapaah, I mean metaphorically, and it energizes the judicial system to the court workers and everybody. Because, Sandra, let's not forget, if we don't get it right on this fight against corruption, look, the politicians will steal everything. Tomorrow they say you and I didn't work hard, and the rest of the other people who didn't go into a public office. So it's in all of us, our collective interest, to fight this canker. So as for court of public opinion, court of law, we always need the two. Yes, we always, and actually, was it even Abraham Lincoln? There was one of the U.S. presidents who even said, look, he needs public opinion ahead of, he said, you prefer no government, but a media. A media, he prefers a society with a media, something like that, without a government. Yeah. So a media, what do they do? They are shaping public opinion. Yes, Abraham Lincoln, I think it was Lincoln, even if it's not him, one of the early presidents of the U.S. And it's in that direction, saying that, look, if you have a society and there's no formal government, but you have a media, it's good enough, because they think that the media will form the norms. Of course, there are the downsides of media, the way some people will not do their work well. Yes, we are aware. That problem is always in there. But by and large, you get a media that shapes society. So we'll not underplay the court of public opinion, but we pray that we win in the court of law as well, so that it will just silence critics on all fronts.
Her husband is not a public officer. How would the law regard her? And I'm referring to the OSP's law.
Good. So this particular one, there is a thing about the seizure, of currency. So what you're saying is that, yes, OSP law is about public officers. Oh, but even before we go to the seizure of currency, there's a second part that will show that, look, if it shows that some of the people who paid the bribes came and paid it to the husband, yes, he will be in trouble. So it's early days yet. We cannot totally say that just because he's a private person, the law will not apply to him. It all depends on the quality of the evidence. So if you are in private practice, let's not forget, you're in private practice, and let's say you pay bribe, yeah. So that private person will be charged with a public officer. So if somebody is in private practice, is a private person, then he receives bribe on behalf of a minister, and that person will be charged with the minister, and so on and so forth. So it all depends on the kind of evidence that would be laid bare. But even assuming, so let's go with the beginning part of your question. In the event that it turns out that there is no evidence against the husband at all, then that part of the money where he claims that it was his niece who brought $200,000, that one will be confiscated, since in the information the OSP brought out, the niece could not show the sources of the income. You see that in the right.
She did not declare.
Yes. And so far, and even at a point, I think there's even another part of it that says she was denying. Let's see. Can we refer? There's a part that says that she denied giving the money, right?
So the OSP says that her accounts were inconsistent when she was questioned. And she also claimed she brought the money physically at one point, but the accounts were inconsistent. And
So
she claims to be a consultant for the uncle.
Yes. So bottom line is that once there's the inconsistency, you know it very well, Sandra. Once there's inconsistency, she's lost credibility. So if she can't explain the source of that money properly, it will be confiscated. So even short of a criminal offense, under the OSP regulations, remember the currency seizure notices, is it 11? There's 11 something, one of the forms in the OSP Act. So once they seize the currency, there's a notice they give you that explain how you got this currency. So if you are not able to explain, the OSP can go to court for confiscation proceedings under the LI. So that is separate from the criminal charges. So that's why we're saying that hopefully, even worst case scenario, quarter, even if we are not getting corruption charges, as for the confiscation of the money, hopefully we should be able to go through. That one too is tight. It's not a walk in the park, but hopefully, I mean, once they cannot explain, hopefully the legal gymnastics should not stop the court from confiscating the money.
Very well. Thank you so much for speaking to us, Martin Kpebo there. He's a private legal practitioner. We'll be in the courts because Namwan was back